guys, Nicholai here, back at you. Ooh, well, now you know what kind of music I like, guys. That's fine. Uh, uh, anyways, I hope you guys are having a great day. We're gonna be responding to another Cliff video. Now, my Cliff videos got a lot of heat from certain people saying, you're just a hater, blah, blah, blah. But I thought I'd do this video because I thought it was actually a remarkable response that was actually good, unlike most of his responses. I don't actually like most of his responses. I think actually as Cliff has gotten older, he's gone not as good over time on a lot of issues. So, but that being said, let's see what he has to say here.
We don't go from translation to translation. We go from the original Greek to English, the original Greek to Latin, the original Greek to French or Spanish. We have over 5,200 Greek manuscripts, and the New Testament was written in Greek.
Yeah, so he's correct, but also the Septuagint is the normative means in which they would use. And again, does Cliff accept the Septuagint? Does he accept the deuterocanonical books? That's questionable. But that being said, he is correct that the normative way in which we understand how the canon of scripture or translations come about is because of that. And yes, we have a lot of manuscripts of the preserved manuscripts of these documents. And so there really isn't any arguments that the scriptures have been twisted from their original meaning. Just there isn't a lot of evidence for that. So that being said, he's bringing up a great point here.
So we're not going through several different translations. We're going from Greek to English. Second point.
And one thing about Cliff is he kind of overly emphasizes things to the point where it's like treating the person listening as if they're stupid. I think he can pick up on that. You don't need to re-emphasize that same point 3 different times. You made a point that is very, very understandable. Move on to the next point. It gets draining and taxing.
The Gnostic Gospels, the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Pilate, the Gospel of Peter, the Gospel of Truth, the Gospel of Judas. Those Gospels were rejected at a fairly early date.
By who? Rejected by who? See, this is another question I would ask Cliff, but who rejected them and who had the authority to reject them? The people that had the authority to reject them were the bishops and the early church fathers who had apostolic succession. That's what we would say. Now, for Cliff, he doesn't really have that ability to do that. It's just kind of his arbitrary decision on that matter. And so a good skeptic who actually is asking good questions and is, following a line of logical argumentation, he would be able to call that out fairly quickly, which is a weakness that Cliff has when it comes to these things. Now, that being said, he's not wrong about this so far.
In the 2nd century, because they were based on the philosophy of Gnosticism, which taught the physical is evil, the spiritual is good. Well, that comes right from Plato. The Greek Gnostics. Knowledge is key. The spirit is key. The physical is evil. And obviously, Jesus Christ contradicted that idea. And so does the Bible, because the Bible in Jesus' instance, did God create your body?
Well, just that's kind of missing the broader point, actually. You could just say Christ incarnated into material things. Was Christ now corrupted and evil and bad or imperfect? No. Clearly, Christ incarnating into flesh suggests that flesh itself is not ontologically evil. That's what I would say. Don't get bogged down into the nuances of the rest of it.
It's a beautiful gift. Take care of it.
So I think that's one of the areas that Cliff needs to maybe improve on, and I don't know if he's going to be able to. You have to come up for these reasons. He's kind of set in his ways. He very much overemphasizes points to the point where you kind of lose track of what he's saying. Why do I have to re-emphasize the same point 2 or 3 times in any of his talks? Make the point, move on, because people want to go back and forth. They want to ask follow-up questions. But when you eat up 20 minutes of your time going through one singular point and you're re-emphasizing that point numerous times, it's kind of infantilizing, at least from my perspective. If I were a college student, I would feel slightly infantilized if he was talking like that. With that said, I think Cliff's answers here were very good. They were solid answers that a lot of Reddit tier atheists just don't understand. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the response. Have a wonderful day.